So during the open beta for Battlefield 6, I made a video about it, and now that the full game has released, I wanted to talk about the ups and downs of the game now that it is finally out. First off, I'd like to go ahead and say I may repeat a lot of my same points from that open beta video that I made in the past, but it'll be okay. You'll live. If you enjoyed the open beta, you probably will like this game because it's just the open beta times 10. So, I mean, yeah, it's just more of the open beta. One of the most important things about this game that I was really worried about when it was in open beta and that I didn't like was all the maps were very tiny and very small. And there was only one map that was decent sized for sniping, etc. And I'm going to be honest, it kind of feels the same way. The maps don't feel as big. The 9 maps that were included on release, they just don't feel very big. They don't feel fun to snipe on. There is a good few. They brought back Operation Firestorm, which is fantastic to snipe on. There's like 2 more sniper maps that I really do enjoy, and it's fun, and I enjoy it a lot. But there are a lot of small maps as well, and I feel like I have a lot of dread in my heart when I'm playing Conquest, and I get one of these little small maps that are kind of rinky-dink, but they are fun. I just swap off of Recon and go to Engineer specifically to play on these smaller maps because they're still enjoyable. Even if they're not things brought back from the past like Operation Metro that I wanted or anything of that sort, these new maps are actually good, man. I love to see a game actually put time and effort into making new shit instead of just recycling the same thing over and over and over and over. Call of Duty. All these new maps are a blast. I love I don't know, the setting of them all. They just all have a beautiful contrast to them. They all have wonderful colors, and they're all fun for combat, and they all have decent flows and everything in between. They're a very fun set of maps. I have not been bored of a map yet. Moving on from the maps, I would like to say the gunplay, combat, and anything surrounding that is, again, same as beta, but it did improve on a few things. First off being the weapon selection. Obviously in the open beta, they weren't going to have anything for you really to use in the open beta other than a few guns. They couldn't show everything off at once, but the weapon selection now is really good. I gotta say, it could have been better in certain categories than others. Categories like the snipers, shotguns, and DMRs only have 4 weapons per category, and the more commonly used categories like ARs, carbines, SMGs, and LMGs have like 5 to 6 per category. Yeah, like maybe even 6 or 7. But that's good. I mean, I know there's a lot of games that have come out in recent years that don't have that good a selection. They'll have only 1 to 2 pistols and shit like that. I don't even know how many pistols are in Battlefield 6. I better not say that. They'll only have like 1 to 2 snipers, 3 to 4 SMGs. They won't have this good of selection, but at least they put enough variety to keep you entertained until they update it. Because in all honesty, in this day and age, when it says day of release, it really means you got some shit in the game, but you gotta wait for all the decent stuff to release. And from day one, this is a decent selection to start from. Now, obviously, they will add more weapons as time goes on, so that just means this category will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Just like Battlefield 4. Hell, half them weapons are DLC weapons. And from what I've used so far of these guns, all of them have unique attributes about them that just make them unique. They don't all feel like clones of each other if they're in the same category as each other. For example, not every AR just feels the exact same. Not every sniper feels the exact same. They don't all just feel the exact same. Only issue that I would say is they all feel incredibly different and they're hard to use. Find one you really like and stick to it for a while to level up. My only issue with something involving something like that is actually in the LMGs. Some of the LMGs are literally just ARs, bro. Like, they have 31 round mags. They're not extremely long or extremely heavy. They look just straight up like an AR with a scope on it, bro. I don't know why they put that shit in the LMGs. I guess maybe to just make the LMG category a little bit bigger and the AR category a little smaller and kind of level it out. But I would rather just have a shit ton of ARs and you put LMGs where LMGs belong. I mean, it is kind of nice because at least if you want to play a medic and still utilize the buff you get for using the respected weapon of your class, you can still just use basically an AR, but it's still really weird. That is a neat feature of the game, is that, you know, the weapons are not locked to each class just like it wasn't in the beta, but they do give you a buff for using the right weapon with the right class. I can't remember what the buff exactly is, but it is neat. All the guns are locked either by a level or locked by a challenge, which I'm glad they put a variety of both of those in, because one of my only issues with this game is the fact that you level up so slow. They need to turn it up a little bit, bro. It feels like I've been playing for an eternity and I'm only level 20. I've put around 20 hours into the game so far, so that's legit an hour for a level. I think that's a little fucking long, especially that I'm not a terrible player. I'm at least going positive each match. Maybe it's a skissue. I'm gonna be honest. It could be. But please, I don't know. Just give me an XP boost or something, EA. I'm begging you. I'll go to the Diddy party if you just give me one, son. Not only leveling your character, but leveling up the guns also can feel time consuming, but it's not as bad on everything else as it is specifically the snipers. I don't know why they started us off with 6 times scopes on all the snipers instead of like an 8 or a 10 like BF4 did and BF3 did and all the standard sizes for a sniper rifle. But like, damn, man, it just feels like I'm using an ACOG on a rifle, and it just feels so weird. I need just a little bit more zoom, even if they just put like the attachment where you can go from like a 6 to an 8 or something, like the variable zoom. Add that or something, or let me unlock it soon so I can at least use it. Because why the hell can I unlock the rangefinder in like 10 minutes time on the sniper, but I can't unlock a variable zoom on the sniper? I would much rather have the variable zoom first before using the rangefinder. And speaking of the ranges, same issue with the sniping as before with the open beta. There isn't much drop off, to be honest. And to be fair, it is being realistic because the rifle you're using really wouldn't drop off that much at 200 or 300 meters. But I still wish it was a little bit more just for video game purposes, like they did for BF4 and most of Battlefields, honestly. Even at long ranges, it just doesn't feel like I need a rangefinder because it's such a small amount that aiming any higher or even zeroing in your weapon just feels pointless. It does not drop off that much. I've been clicking heads at upwards of 600 meters with basically no drop. Just click their head, maybe hold it barely a hair above their head, and it's gonna hit them. Further than that, yeah, the drop off does improve, but it just feels weird. It feels like your bullets, like, it drops, but it doesn't really like bend down like it would in Battlefield 4 or something where it's like falling out of the air. It more feels like, okay, well now it's just a little lower. It feels like it was hit scan and somehow they wanted to make drop off and hit scan. But the sniping has definitely grown on me. I'm getting used to it, and you can tell by the gameplay in the back. I've been sniping a shit ton. It's what I do the most. I love the sniping a lot, other than all those issues I just mentioned. It is fun, it is enjoyable, and you're still gonna have a blast doing it. People complaining about the hit markers and stuff just don't really know Battlefield, bro, because unless you're in hardcore, you gotta click heads. That's just always been a fact in Battlefield. You're gonna hit a damn hit marker if you hit anybody anywhere else than their head. And again, this game makes it really easy to click heads, so you're a shitter. Also like the fact that they made SMGs actually like SMGs in this game. Their damage drop-off rate at range is significant, which I love because most games just kind of make SMGs like ARs. They're pretty much the same thing. It gives you a reason to use the bulkier pick, which is an AR. They simply don't hit as hard as they do with an AR at any range above about 100 meters or, you know, give or take a little bit more, which in my mind, again, is realistic. It gives you a reason to use the longer rifles that have better ranges because you can't just run around with an SMG and spray at the same ranges and get the same result. The damage drop-off and the accuracy drop-off of the ranges just makes sense. It's like using a carbine as well. Yeah, it's still a big round, so it'll go further than an SMG, but a carbine is a shorter barreled version of an AR, so it's still not going to go as far as those ARs will go. So it's a really, really good feature that they have in the game, and I don't know, maybe you guys have a different opinion. If you do, leave it down below in the comments. Customization is as good as always. I have no gripes about that, other than the names are just goofy. The grips are so shittily named compared to like things like BF4. They named them Johns so different comparing to BF6, which is like, okay, you can use a vertical or another vertical. It's like, damn, bro, their names do not vary, but they look so different. I can't remember all the names of the different attachments, but yeah, they just don't vary the shit much. Like, at least in Battlefield 4, we had the stubby grip, the stubby vert, we had the potato grip, we had all the different variation of names. But this one, again, like I said, it just repeats. But that's such a niche gripe. They all work, bro, and they all do feel different. Moving on to the vehicles and vehicle combat, I think this is one of the best games, in my opinion, for this. They finally softened up the Jets' handling where it doesn't feel like sludge like I was complaining about in the beta, where it just felt like super stiff. The Jets feel normal now. It feels closer to like Battlefield 2042 mixed with 4. It's a little weird like 2042's was, but it's still good like Battlefield 4's. It has a little bit of that, you know, sprinkled in. The tanks are just as good as ever to me, and these are the most fun for me, honestly. I'm more of a tank guy than a plane guy when it comes to these games. They have a decent variety of these tanks when it comes to using things like the smaller LAVs, the anti-air vehicles, or if you want to go full M1 Abrams and use a tank, just whatever suits your fancy. There's a lot of variation with the vehicles, and that's what I was hoping for because, again, I hate when they don't have variation. There's like one tank per whole fucking team. It's so annoying. And again, it kind of does remind me of Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 where you could have like, you know, anti-air, a small LAV that just is like a light tank, and then you have your heavy tank, which is your standard tank, really. I also like the fact that you take off from the runway in your jet, like old times in BF4 when someone would sit there with C4s and blow you up from your spawn if they could get over there. As far as handling goes for all these, like I said, they feel like the older games while also improving, but it does have a little bit of that 2042 grime smeared on it, at least with the jet. That's the only one I noticed that it kind of felt like 2042 to me, but it still was fire. The driving though, like your standard like buggies and ATVs, reminds me so much of Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline when it comes to the buggies and normal just car-sized like dune buggies, because dude, drifting in this game is so fun, bro. I'm like Von getting Jr. in this bitch. That pretty much covers everything gameplay wise. There was some day one issues with the licensing that made it unavailable to play for people that purchased it on the EA app. It completely screwed me because, bro, I refunded it and I bought it on Steam only to find out that the EA account that's connected to my Steam can't be logged into anymore. I lost the email a million years ago, and it kind of sold me. I'm gonna lose everything, and I didn't get anything from playing the open beta or anything I did and all that shit because they're two separate EA accounts. But at least they gave everyone that was affected by it, other than me, a season pass, and if you were a deluxe pre-order, then you got 2 season passes. So, I mean, mine was my own fault, really. The gameplay doesn't have many bugs in it at all, from my experience. I've had some things like when I'm running, I'll catch on an edge, and all of a sudden I'll fly up in the air like I'm Wolverine, which that's more funny than anything else. But, shit happens. I've also had some performance issues using frame generation while trying to stream, but that went away with time. I think I just needed to update my drivers like twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then eventually it just fixed itself. So we're all good in the bugs department. As far as the campaign goes, it's honestly pretty mid. It's not that it's terrible. It's okay for their first real campaign back in a long, long time, but it definitely wasn't special to me. I haven't even beat it yet, to be honest, so this really isn't a fair review. Take it with a grain of salt. And it has had some decent missions. Super fun night mission with night vision goggles and just clearing out these houses, also clearing out some tunnels and a mountain and a completely separate area. It was really fun. It was fine. It was dandy and all, but as far as storytelling goes, I honestly just, it was tolerable, but it wasn't anything special. It wasn't like Oscar-nominated performances, and honestly, it's not what I expected from it. I give them kudos for even making a campaign, and I commend the fact that they made one just so we will get another one maybe. Maybe they'll be able to improve upon it and fit more of the budget as their game that they're making into it compared to what they probably had to do with this one, which was like, okay, this is like a last resort kind of thing. We're going to make a campaign, but we're going to make one just to do the fans a favor. Just because, you know, everyone wanted a campaign pretty badly. This is the first decent Battlefield in a long, long time, so I didn't expect perfection in it, but we got pretty damn close, man. I mean, that's my only real gripe about the game is these little niches, and then again, just the campaign being like tolerably decent. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be out there going, oh my God, why are you supporting a big corporation that's feeding you slop and blah, blah, blah. EA is screwing you over and you're just, you know, whatever. Honestly, man, I like Battlefield. I've always been this way with Battlefield, and I'm going to support the game I like as much as I can, even if it's not perfect down to the smallest atom. I will talk about what it's not perfect about if I experience that, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to have fun and be honest and say that the game is fun and enjoyable. And that's how I feel about the game. Is it's not flawless. I don't think it ever will be flawless, but it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of enjoyment and fun. I think we should all be a little bit more forgiving with game companies, even if they're a big corporation or like an indie dev that doesn't do shit. When it comes to indie devs, maybe they don't have the funds to make all this big shit that you guys want, and then when it comes to these big corporations, maybe they can't dedicate the funds to the shit because obviously they have to get clearance from the higher-ups, and the clearance from the higher-ups requires them not to be afraid of it flopping, like all the other Battlefields in the past have had. And the fact that this game has little potholes everywhere in it that kind of make it a little rough around the edges, occasionally, just give it a minute, man. It's day one of release, and the fact that it had so much success now, I'm sure they're going to go full reins with this game and improve it even more than I thought they would. Hopefully we'll get our first DLC here soon, and maybe they'll fix some of the bugs if you guys are experiencing any, but I haven't. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you can somehow politely discuss this in the comment section, whether you like it or dislike it, just be kind to each other in the comments. I am so tired of saying that, bro, because that never fucking works. I give up. And so on and so forth, bro. Just have a good time. Bye, y'all, and until next time.